Well, some dramatic new numbers today on diabetes in America, and they are pretty stunning. The Centers for Disease Control now saying that some 8% of the U.S. population has this disease. That's nearly 24 million people. What is more dramatic still is that a large percentage of those people have no idea they have the disease, which can lead from everything from amputation to death. Well, Dr. Jennifer Walden is with us now from New York's Lenox Hill Hospital. Hi, doctor.
Hi, Megan. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. I was really surprised at this, not just the jump in diabetes, but the fact that people could be walking around with the disease and they don't even know it?
Right. It's actually kind of sad because 24 million American people have diabetes. 57 million are pre-diabetic. And a lot of this is due to lifestyle factors that can be prevented, like weight loss, a diet plan, trimming down on obesity. And so we as doctors don't know that people have diabetes till they come to us with the end problems or the complications.
Well, how would you know if you are one of these 8% of Americans that has the disease and you hasn't been diagnosed?
Well, usually there's a family history. You may be obese or overweight. Sometimes you can have symptoms such as frequency with urination, being very thirsty, dehydration, but a lot of times it's end problems, eye damage, visual problems, cutting your foot and not being able to heal it. And it's sad because if you cut your foot and you can't heal that wound, it can be life-threatening.
Right. We mentioned amputation, which if you've known a diabetic, a lot of them have to suffer through that because of that problem. I was shocked also to read that you mentioned eye damage. Two things that diabetes can cause: blindness and loss of hearing?
Right, because it actually can affect the retina and cause retinal problems leading to ultimate blindness, and that's quite a common thing we see in people with diabetes that has not been treated. And then it can cause nerve damage, sensorineural or nerve damage in the ear, leading to problems with deafness. It's also with peripheral nerve problems with the lower extremity.
Now, you mentioned family history. Obviously, if you've got somebody in your family with diabetes, you need to worry about it. And you mentioned obesity. There was an American study that came out recently that said depression can lead to diabetes. What's that about?
Depression can lead to diabetes, and diabetes can lead to depression, is what that said. And what I think it's basically saying is a lot of these things are correlated. And let's just say this is basically type 2 diabetes, not type 1 like Mary Tyler Moore has, where you're thin and you get it in childhood. We're talking about type 2 that has to do with sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, heart disease, and depression can sometimes follow all of those lifestyle factors that people have. And we can see in certain parts of the country public awareness should increase, like in the southeast and Appalachia we have much higher rates of diabetes.
Well, I was surprised by that because if you look at it by sort of ethnicity, it says that American Indians and Alaska Natives are the most likely to get it. 16.5% of them have it, versus Caucasians only 6.6% have it. Blacks almost twice the rate of whites when it comes to diabetes. What explains that? I
think it's probably access to health care, sadly, in the United States, and it also has to do with just public awareness programs. And we as doctors, nurses, and this is great that Fox News is doing this, should reach out to the public and tell them about diabetes and the importance of going to get screened and going to your doctor regularly, because this is a tremendous financial burden on the U.S. health care system as well, because it's preventable. It's preventable.
And finally, also young people are getting it in higher numbers than ever, which I guess, you've heard of mature onset diabetes, but when we talk young people, how young are we talking? And again, is it the overweight, is it the obese people, or is it also people who are thin? The
representative for the CDC was specifically talking about type 2 diabetics now are more young than we used to see, and that is basically correlating with higher levels of teenage obesity. In other words, sitting in front of video games, computers all day long, and not going out and playing football or soccer or whatever we used to do. We're just tied up inside the home these days.
Well, another reason to get out there and exercise. There's no excuse. It's the time of the year to do it.
It's absolutely right.
Dr. Walden, thanks so much. Love having you on.
Megan.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know, you talk a lot about your fear of flying, right? Oh, there's